Welcome to Camp Ace. I'm your camp counselor, Mr. Ace, and I will begin day one going over basic music notation for a few minutes. I'll go over note names and accidentals, and I'll only teach simple pitches. That means I won't go over ridiculous ledger lines, double sharps or flats, or anything crazy because you don't need to know that stuff when learning composing, or at least not right off the bat. Then I'll jump into teaching intervals. This may seem like a jump, but I wanted to get rid of all the pitch things before going on to rhythm. Notice how I don't have each camper introduce themselves just yet. From 9:30 to 10:15, I'll give the campers an activity. I will assign each camper a note name and they have to introduce themselves to every other camper in the class. When two campers meet, they introduce their names, what instrument they play, and figure out the interval between their two notes. They will write this information down on a handout. Here's a demonstration of the activity. Here's my mock classroom with all these students. I give them all pitches that look like these, and they should be familiar with them. Now, let's take John and Elsa, and we're going to give John an A sharp and Elsa an E. So they meet, introduce their names and instruments, and write them down on this worksheet that I'll give to them. John will say he plays the trumpet, and Elsa will say she sings and plays the flute. Then they share their pitches. In this case, an A sharp and an E will form either a diminished fifth or augmented fourth, depending on which note is on the bottom. They'll only need to find out one combination, but they're welcome to try other combinations as well. Since they both have two pitches, they could try to find all four cases where an A sharp is matched with an E, or A sharp is matched with an F flat, or a B flat to E, or a B flat to F flat. Either way, this is a tritone, which they can state if they know what a tritone is, or they may say augmented fourth or diminished fifth, which is the terminology I'll be using in class. Now let's say Amy and Jake meet. They share their instruments. Amy has a G sharp and A flat, and Jake has a D sharp and E flat. They may not know enough about intervals to figure out what an A flat to D sharp is, which, by the way, is a doubly augmented fourth. So they would have to figure out a way to make it easy, like G sharp to D sharp, which is easily a perfect fifth. I'll be around taking notes of each student's instruments and answering any questions. There's one problem with this though. Students are expected to sit and listen to me teach intervals for an hour without interacting with any of the other students. This is kind of like school, and camp should be fun, not like school. But at the same time, I think it's a cool way to introduce yourself using a pitch, and I look forward to your feedback on my idea. Once they are done, I will bring everyone back together and have one student introduce another student in the class based on what they have written down, including the interval they have formed. When they share their intervals, I will play them on a piano. I'll also make them sing along to help them improve their pitch matching. I'll also note the consonants and dissonance between the notes harmonically and melodically. At 10:30, the class will learn about rhythms and time signatures. I will only teach rhythms as small as 16th notes. Once I teach them the basics, I will host another activity. I will get out a metronome, which will make a steady pulse of beats. I will start out slow. Each ticking beat will be a quarter note. I will have various rhythms and have all the campers stand up and clap the rhythm that matches the beat. I will count to 3 by saying 1, 2, 3, go, which is when the campers must start clapping. When they have successfully completed one rhythm, I turn the metronome up to go faster and present another rhythm. This process will repeat. If a camper messes up on the rhythm due to speed of the rhythm, they must sit down but are encouraged to keep practicing. The last camper standing is the winner and gets 2 pieces of candy while everyone else gets 1. Here's a demonstration of this activity. I'll show them the first rhythm and play the metronome for a few beats. Then they have to just clap along with the metronome. So in this case, the first one would be. And if everybody gets it, except Rick, then I'll increase the tempo and show them the second melody. So in this case, it would be. Yeah, I screwed up on that. Get rid of Eric for screwing up. And so these two people win the first game. I'm going to play this game again with triple meter. So I'll start back at the slow tempo. Let's get some new people into the game. Let's put Jack, used you, Joe. So here we have new people in the game. I'll start out with the triple meter in a slow tempo, play it for a few beats, and just tell them to start, and they do something like this. So yeah, you guys just failed, and egg wins. Then we go to lunch at 12. What they will eat depends on the school menu, but should be similar to camp food. Here is a demonstration of the food. When we come back, we will go into a room with computers and music notation software installed beforehand. I will give them a short introduction on the music notation software the students will be using throughout the week. Then I let the more advanced students go ahead and compose. Those who would like help getting started in composition are encouraged to listen to me. For beginners, I will get students to come up with a short musical idea or motif. I will tell them to come up with many. Not all of them will end up in the final performance, but they will have a few ideas they may work out of throughout the week. And that's it. They'll compose for the rest of the time and ask me questions if they have any, and I encourage you to ask me questions if you have any. Thanks for attending Camp ACE today, and I'll see you tomorrow.